Have you thought about your business branding? Have you branded your business? Do you even know what branding your business means? Hi, I'm Charly, your online business manager and WordPress expert. My goal is to assist small to medium business owners build their businesses with a focus on using the internet and online technologies in an appropriate and cost-effective manner. People hire me to take the stress out of managing their businesses and allow themselves to focus on what they do best. Over the past couple of episodes, I've spoken about the fact that sometimes free isn't free and that quality is worth more than quantity in marketing. I wanted to touch on that a little bit more and extend that to our business branding. Let's start first of all with what business branding is. Branding, at least to me, is more than just the logo, but the logo is a really large part of that, to me anyway. It's the imagery you choose to use, your graphics, the logo, the pictures, the images you choose to use. It's the colors and the fonts and how we combine them all to work together to define your business. I want you to have a think about a couple of businesses that you know that you will see a color or you will see an image and you'll think, oh, that's that business. There's a couple that come to mind for me. Coca-Cola, Nike, Adidas. And when I was putting this episode together, I kind of thought about Optus as well, because Optus didn't just do the logo and the colors and the branding, the logos and the colors and the fonts. They also went a little bit further and they had a message that they wanted to make sure that people knew about. And that message was yes. They built their brand on saying yes. And I still remember, the ads where they had just had the word yes in their font and their color come up and you go, oh, that's Optus. We knew that was Optus. So branding is about all of those things that when someone sees it or sees that combination of those things goes, that's your business. I know who you are. So before I continue, I'd like to invite you to come and join me on my locals community. This is a place where you can join this discussion and others, add some advice for others, ask for advice, ask questions, and just generally hang out. I'd really like for my community to be the water cooler for business owners who pretty much work on their own. So come and join me at askcharlylatham.locals.com. And back to me. So in my experience, failing to develop your branding early in the business setup process can be extremely harmful. The failure tends to result in a lack of brand recognition for the business and the marketing person having to scramble to create new material time and time again. What font did we use for this last campaign? What colors did we use? Where do we have those written down? Oh, hell, do we have a copy of our logo somewhere, or the image that we used as our logo for this documentation? Where is all of that? Setting the branding of your business early means that you can readily develop the recognition of your business. It makes developing marketing materials so much easier, and it means that developing things like your website and social media presence becomes consistent. And consistency in marketing is really, really important. Making sure you have that same message, that same look and feel going out over and over and over again to build that brand recognition is really, really important. Why do businesses fail to set their branding on startup? Well, sometimes it's because they don't know they need to, hence me doing this video, of course. Sometimes it's because they don't know how to or who can help them. But most times, unfortunately, it seems to be that it's just seen as being too expensive to do. I can't afford to have a logo developed. Branding often relates to developing your logo. Now, that last point can be valid if you go about it the wrong way or speak to the wrong people. I want to touch on that second point first. Some organisations can be costly to deal with. That's a given. They do a fantastic job. They do a top-tier job, and they work with large organisations. Now, whilst these organisations are good, they are fantastic, and they are great, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that they are appropriate for a startup. Startups have very different marketing budgets, and sometimes we need to accept something that maybe isn't as bright and shiny as a Nike logo or a Coca-Cola logo, or done by the organisations that have done those. Sometimes we need to come down a little and work with an organisation that best fits our budget. So finding the right organisation or person to work with is absolutely key in this case. Another reason that getting your branding organised can be expensive is that you don't have a clear idea on who the target audience is and what message is being conveyed. And that means that your logo developer and your graphics people have to work really hard to give you something, and then you look at it and you go, yeah, but that's not going to work for me. But having that information already defined makes doing the branding and keeping your messaging consistent so much easier. You really should have these things nailed down first. Once you've got these sorted out, you absolutely should get a basic brand kit developed. So what's in a basic brand kit? Well, like, what is a brand kit? It's a bit of a buzzword, really, isn't it? In the brand kits that we give out to my customers when we help people get their branding sorted out, we do a basic logo. We include the colours that represent the business based on that logo, and the codes for those colours so that they can be used across the board, and the fonts to use. Now, as I just said, typically the colours and the fonts are decided by the logo we help develop. And that's why getting a logo is helpful. If you choose not to get a logo, and that is potentially a valid way to go, make sure that you do set fonts and colours pretty early though. Now, why wouldn't you want to get a logo developed? Because it costs so much money. Well, yeah, they can cost money. Well, no, they will cost money. It will cost money to get a logo developed. People will give you a service and you should pay for that service. But do they really cost so much money, or is it just that it seems that way? As I said before, there are organisations out there that are top tier organisations, and when you go to them, you will pay top dollar for them. They're great organisations, they do a fantastic job, but they may not necessarily be the right organisation for your business to work with today. There are, however, many, many talented individuals in the freelance world who have great packages for a startup that include a logo, and those prices shouldn't break the bank. However, in this case, this is one expense I really recommend that a business incurs. Go and get your logo and your branding created. By creating your logo, and by flow on, getting your colours and fonts sorted out, you can create a consistent marketing message that looks professional. And by professional, I mean it doesn't look like you've just found a piece of clip art, am I dating myself here, and stuck it into a graphics editing package and threw some text on it. A professionally developed logo will show that you are serious about your business and that you are here for the long run. You intend to be around because you have invested that money. Now, I've already covered a couple of things to consider when developing your branding, making sure that you know who your target audience is, and make sure that you know what the message you're delivering is. But there's a couple of other things I'd like to highlight as well when you go and get your logo done, specifically your logo. First of all, make sure that you will get the rights to the work that is created for you. Some graphic designers, unfortunately, have a clause in their terms and conditions that say they retain the rights to your work. Make sure that, they will retain some right to the work because they've put some effort into it, but make sure that you have the right to take that work and modify it as needed. Ensure that you'll get your source files to the logo. Your source files are the ones that will allow people like your website designer, your graphics people, other people who will develop marketing materials for you. Let's say you want to put a logo on a shirt, you'll need those source files to send to the people who are doing your shirts so that they can create the artwork to do that. So make sure you actually have those source files and they're sent to you. When you get them, make sure you put them onto a data stick and put that data stick away in case you have a computer failure, and have them saved off somewhere on your computer and in the cloud perhaps. Ensure that the artwork you're given is in a large format. Now, it's a little difficult for me to put that into words, but essentially what you're looking for is you want high resolution, large format so you can resize it as needed. You don't want to be given a logo that's at 300px by 300px. I know it's a bit of jargon here for some of you, 150 dots per inch DPI. You want to make sure that you can get it as large as you can. If you can get it at 2000 plus pixels and 600 DPI, that normally is great printable quality. You can always resize things down, make them smaller. Making things larger is far more difficult. Making things larger and keeping the quality and the crispness of that artwork is so much more difficult, if not impossible. Make sure that any fonts that are used with your logo or with your brand are accessible to you, and that's not accessible as in people can read them. That's accessible as in you can actually get hold of them, and usable on the web. Some fonts, well, most fonts these days are usable on the web. It comes to the next point that I'm about to make. Some of them require a license to use. And so you need to make sure that you can actually get hold of that license and you know what it costs you. I have had people come to me with artwork and the font in that artwork I've needed to go and get the license for, and it's a couple $100 to get the license for that font. So make sure that you know what that's going to cost you. Personally, I like to use things like Google Fonts. They're free for use, and you can use them print and digitally. And lastly, I like to make sure that I get the artwork that includes the text for my business and a set that just has the image or the logo only. That way I can use the logo on shirts and stuff, and then if I need to just maybe create something to go on an ad or something where I've got other text, I can just use that image as well. Now, there's probably a lot of things there that I've missed, but those are the big ones that I think you need to cover and remember. I hope it's really become clear from my little discussion today that I think getting your business branding sorted out early is really, really important to you. It will allow you to generate consistency in your marketing message and develop that recognition with your business really, really quickly. Okay, lastly, having gone through the process of developing your branding, make sure you use it. Don't just put it in a folder on your computer or on the data stick as I recommended. Make it part of your business. Create your letterheads, create your document templates. Make sure that you know what your colors are so that you can add them to your website or to your social media marketing as you go through. Use your branding so that you do develop that consistency in marketing. See, I keep coming back to those words, consistency in marketing. So have you guys gone through the process of creating your own branding? Do you have artwork for your logo in formats that you can use or pass off to others who will develop the material for your business? What sort of hints and tips can you provide for others from your own experience? Why don't you drop over to my locals community and leave that advice there? Start a conversation or join in a conversation. Love to get your feedback on all of this stuff. And also, please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring that little notification bell so that you can find out when I drop more content.